Virginia, please welcome your next governor, Glenn Youngkin. Are you ready to win tomorrow? Come on, Loudoun County, I can't hear you. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are right now together. We're together right now, standing up, not as Republicans, not as Democrats, but as Virginians, and we're taking back it. We're here together tonight because there's a moment right now, and we can feel the spirit in the sky right now. It's the spirit of Washington and Jefferson and Madison and Monroe, Patrick Henry, right here. That spirit in the sky is telling us that this is a moment, a defining moment for the future of our Commonwealth, a defining moment where we get to stand up and say no to this left, liberal, progressive agenda that's trying to take us over. No. We have a moment where we as Virginians, we get to stand up and we get to tomorrow decide the future of our Commonwealth, a future that we know where we can celebrate the relentless pursuit of a better life, the relentless pursuit of prosperity, where we don't have self-centered politicians stand between us and our dreams, where they're more interested in their future than yours. This is our moment where we recognize this culture that keeps telling our children they have to shelve their hopes, shelve their dreams. When they're told that mediocrity and low expectations are okay, we will not be a commonwealth of low expectations. We will be a commonwealth of high expectations. Friends, this is our moment where we stand up for our children, for our grandchildren, for our nieces, for our nephews, for our neighbors, and we decide that we, in fact, are going to be in charge of our children's education. We know that in order to do this, we have to break the power out of Richmond. We have to have a moment where power shifts away from the marble halls in Richmond and it moves to the kitchen tables around Virginia. Kitchen tables that are bound together by freedom and liberty. But these kitchen tables, sometimes that discussion happens over breakfast after a midnight shift, where we're talking about those issues that are most important to us. Those issues that are going to define the future of this Commonwealth. Those issues that we as Virginians share as values. From the farms in the Shenandoah to the docks in Newport News, to literally to the monuments in Arlington Cemetery, to the banks of the James River, to the school board meetings in Loudoun County. This is where parents are. This is where Virginians are, where we come together to redefine this future. Folks, this stopped being a campaign a long time ago, and it started being a movement led by all of you, led by you. And as we head to the polls tomorrow, we have to remind ourselves that that this Virginia that we know we can build together, this Virginia that is the promise that we have held out for our children and our grandchildren, this promise of Virginia where we can in fact see our kids dream the biggest dreams they can think of and go get them. This Virginia where our parents and our grandparents go for a walk and the only thing they worry about is what they're going to do tomorrow because today was so great. This Virginia where our children can be college ready or career ready. This Virginia where in fact you have more of your money in your pocket versus in Terry McAuliffe's pocket. This is the Virginia promise that we can build together, but that promise hangs in the balance. It hangs in the balance because tomorrow we must go get it. It will not be given to us. This democracy is not a spectator sport. It is an active involvement. We must go get it. We must go get it. And so we find ourselves tonight, thinking about what can happen tomorrow. And what can happen tomorrow will be a statement that will be heard across this country because America needs us to vote tomorrow as well. America's watching. Why? Why? Because all across this country, families are having the same discussions that you all have. I get notes all day long. Glenn, stand up for our kids too. Stand up for the rights of our children because we can't vote this year. You in Virginia do. We have problems in our school boards. We have problems in our schools. Stand up for us, Virginia. Well, let me tell you, Virginia is going to stand up for them tomorrow. That's what we're going to do. USA, 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 USA. Friends, do you know what's at stake? We do. The future of this Commonwealth, the future of this country is going to be decided tomorrow. Our nation's history is our Commonwealth's history. And our nation's future is going to be determined by the present. How we vote tomorrow will make such a statement for families around this great country to have hope, to recognize that, yes, the values that we hold dear, the values that underpin this country are still alive and well, and we can put them into action tomorrow. So here we go. Here we go tomorrow, folks. What we need to do tomorrow is show up and vote. We need to show up and vote because nothing happens unless we fully engage. And then when we fully engage, let me tell you what's going to happen tomorrow. We are going to sweep our statewide offices tomorrow. Sweep them. And we are going to elect Jason Miyares as our next Attorney General. And let me tell you, if Attorney General Mark Herring won't investigate the Loudoun County School Board, Jason Miyares will. And we are going to elect Winsome Sears, our next Lieutenant Governor. And we are going to sweep into office a brand new majority in our House of Delegates. But we're also going to win local offices all over Virginia. Board of Supervisors, city councils, treasurer's office, sheriff races, and school board races all over Virginia. It will not be a lonely day tomorrow. We are going to usher in an entire crop of Republican leaders across this great Commonwealth. And this will be a statement. It'll be a statement for the future of Virginia. Now, friends, I get asked all the time, Glenn, how are you sleeping? And I say, thank you for worrying about my health. I'm sleeping fine. I'm sleeping like a baby. I wake up every 20 minutes screaming. What am I worried about? I'm worried about the future of this Commonwealth. I'm worried about the future of our children. I'm worried about taxes being too high. I'm worried the communities aren't safe. I'm worried that the job market's stalled out. I'm worried that you're going to get fired for not taking a vaccine and not be able to collect unemployment. Friends, this is a moment where tomorrow we're going to see such clear distinctions on the ballot. On one side is Terry McAuliffe. And Terry McAuliffe, we know he wants to put government between parents and our children. Terry McAuliffe wants to force everybody to join the union. Terry McAuliffe wants you to get fired by your employer for not taking the vaccine. Terry McAuliffe wants to raise your taxes in the middle of the night because he thinks it's his money. I know it's yours. And Terry McAuliffe thinks that these rights are not absolute. Well, let me tell you, these rights in our Bill of Rights are absolute. Friends, on the other side of the ballot is freedom and liberty, and I'm standing for freedom and liberty. Because what's on this side of the ballot, it may say Jason Miyares, it may say Winsome Sears, it may say Glenn Youngkin, but who's really on the ballot is all of you. Virginia's on the ballot. And let me tell you, Terry McAuliffe on one side versus Virginia on the other side, Virginia wins every day of the week. And when we win, on January 15th, we're going to work. And let me tell you what's going to happen on January 15th. It's going to be a special day because Jason Miyares and Winsome Sears and I get to stand under Mr. Jefferson's portico in Richmond. And we put our hand on a holy Bible and we will swear to God Almighty that we're going to protect the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of this great Commonwealth of Virginia. And then we're going to walk down those steps. We're going to stop for a minute. We're going to stop for a minute, and Paige is going to join Jason, and Terrence is going to join Winsome, and Suzanne's going to join me. And I don't begin to presuppose where anybody is in their own faith walk, but anybody else who wants to join us, we're going to stop for a moment of prayer, folks. And we're going to thank the Lord for blessing us, for watching over us, for protecting us, for guiding us, for showing us a path to walk and giving us the strength to walk it. And then we're going to ask him to continue to watch over us and strengthen us and guide us so we can go do the work that he would have us do. Not in our words, but his words, not for our glory, but for his. And then we're saying amen, and we're going to work. And on that first day, we are going to cut the cost of living in Virginia because it is too expensive to live here. We're going to cut everybody's taxes. I mean, we know this. We know this. It's got to be too expensive to live in Virginia. The cost of living's going through the roof. And meanwhile, in Richmond, they overtaxed us by $2.6 billion last year. They're going to do it again this year. I know that's your money. Terry McAuliffe thinks it's his money. We're going to cut taxes. So on day one, we're going to declare the largest tax rebate in the history of Virginia. We're going to eliminate the grocery tax. We're going to suspend the most recent increase in the gas tax. We're going to double everybody's standard deduction. And we are going to go to work for our veterans to say, thank you. We want you to live here. We all know this. Our communities are so much better when our veterans live among us. 1 out of 11 Virginians is a veteran. They understand that freedom is not free, and they've been willing to fight for our freedom. We're going to say thank you. So we're going to build up to $40,000 over 3 years of their retirement benefits that we're going to exclude from taxes altogether. Veterans, we want you to stay here. Altogether. It totals about $1,400, almost $1,500 of tax savings in year one. My opponent, He's got hundreds of pages of policy. It's going to cost $16 billion, $5,400 for every Virginia family. He thinks it's his money. I know it's your money. I'm giving it back to you so you can spend it like you want. On day one, we're going to work to reestablish expectations of excellence in our schools. While Terry McAuliffe was governor, 88 schools in Virginia failed to reach their accreditation. What does he do? Instead of fixing them and doing the hard work, he reduces standards and not one fails. Not one. Today, Virginia ranks 50th in the nation in standards to progress in reading and math. 50th. The test scores show it. The test scores show it. George Bush called it the soft bigotry of low expectations. We will not be a commonwealth of low expectations. We'll be a commonwealth of high expectations. The test scores that came out this past spring showed it. 55% of white children in Virginia can't pass an 8th grade math equivalency test. 70% of Latino children, 80% of black children in Virginia can't pass an 8th grade math equivalency test. Folks, that gap is wholly unacceptable. The order of magnitude of these numbers is shocking. It is shocking. So we must go to work for our children. They can't wait. They can't wait. So on day one, we will declare that Virginia schools never will be closed again to 5 days a week in-person education. But we are going to raise expectations in our schools and then fund in a record education budget, raising teacher salaries, funding into facilities, funding special education. Virginia's kids with disabilities have suffered mightily during this pandemic. They deserve extra investment too. But then we're going to press forward with the most aggressive charter school program the Commonwealth has ever seen. We will provide choice in our public schools. Virginia has 8 charter schools in the entire Commonwealth. Maryland has 140. North Carolina has 190. We have 8. On day one, we're going to launch 20 innovation charter schools. That is a down payment to close that gap over 4 years. We will have choice in our public school system. But friends, we know it all starts with curriculum. And so let me be really clear. We will teach accelerated math. We will award advanced diplomas. We will teach all history, the good and the bad. America is the greatest country on the planet, and we know it. We have an amazing history, but we also have some dark and abhorrent chapters. We must teach them all. We can't know where we're going unless we know where we have come from. But let me be clear, what we won't do is teach our children to view everything through a lens of race, where we divide them into buckets and one group's an oppressor and one other group's a victim, and we pit them against each other and we steal their dreams. We will not be a commonwealth of dream stealers. We will be a commonwealth of dream enablers and builders. And we know it's not right. We're all created equal. And we're trying so hard to live up to those immortal words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who implored us to be better than we are, to judge one another based on the content of our character and not the color of our skin. And so let me be clear. Let me be clear. On day one, we will not have political agendas in the classroom, and I will ban critical race theory. On day one, we're standing up for law enforcement because they stand up for us. And let me tell you, Loudoun County, you have one of the most amazing sheriff's departments you can possibly believe. Thank you, Sheriff Mike Chapman. Thank you. Virginia's at a 20-year high in murder rate. 4 of our great cities are ranked in the top 65 deadliest cities in America, with Richmond at number 11, racing to number 1, Norfolk, Hampton, Newport News. My opponent doesn't care. When he was governor, the murder rate went up 43%. The rate went up every year. He wouldn't even meet with the Police Benevolent Association. He stood them up. They represent 7,000 heroes who put a bulletproof vest on every day to go to work. Friends, this man doesn't understand what it means to serve law enforcement. This is why 50 sheriffs have endorsed us. 4 have switched parties. We've been endorsed by the Fraternal Order of Police, the Police Benevolent Association. Because we know on day one we've got to go to work, so we're going to comprehensively fund law enforcement, higher salaries, equipment budgets, training budgets. We're going to protect qualified immunity. We're going to fund into our mental health system. It is broken for 8 years. We need more facility capacity, more professionals. And let me be clear, on day one, I will fire the entire parole board and we're starting all over again. On day one, we have got to get this Virginia economy moving again. It's been stalled out for 8 years. The states around us have been kicking our butt. Maryland, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia. For 8 years, they've been growing 70% faster than Virginia. North Carolina generated 8 times the job over the last 8 years that Virginia has. Tennessee, 6 times. 4 big plants just got announced by Ford Motor Company. Where'd they go? 2 to Kentucky, 1 to Tennessee, 1 to Georgia, none in Virginia. We have been losing, and I am tired of losing to Maryland particularly. We have got to get moving. By the way, folks, my opponent doesn't understand any of this. 32 of his 79 economic development deals generated 0 jobs. 0. He announces 14,000 jobs, 7,000 show up. In the world I came from, if that's your record, not only do you not get rehired as CEO, you get fired as CEO. This is what he deserves. So we got to go to work on day one, so let me be clear. We are going to announce that Virginia is open for business. No lockdowns, no shutdowns. We're open for business. We are going to protect our right to work. We're not going to force everybody to join the union. Terry McAuliffe looked at a camera and he said, I'll sign that bill and get rid of right to work when it comes to my desk. And then the unions piled money, millions of dollars into his campaign. Friends, he is bought and paid for. Well, let me tell you, I am not. I'm going to do the right thing, and we're going to protect our right to work in Virginia. But we got to get moving. We got to start growing again. So on day one, we're cutting 25% of job-killing regulations. The Virginia Code is 37,000 pages long. Try printing that out on your home computer. We're gonna provide small business a 12-month tax holiday so you can keep your profits and invest in growth and employment. And friends, we're getting Virginia back to work. We're going back to work. Job training programs so you can either go to college or have a career. We have to have multiple pathways for our college kids. Not everybody has to incur $50,000 to $70,000 of debt when there's great jobs to be had. But we have to teach Virginia how to be entrepreneurs again. We're ranked 49th in the nation as best place to start a business. Only Connecticut is worse. I have been to Connecticut. We do not want to be Connecticut. So we have to have incubators and accelerators and capital formation. We have to cut the regulations to start a business so it's easier to get going. Friends, we have to get this economy growing again. And together we can do this. But let me be clear. Governors do not create jobs. Businesses and people do. So my job is to partner with you, and we have a plan to generate 400,000 new jobs and foster 10,000 new startups. We're going to get Virginia moving, get everybody back to work, and it's going to lift up everybody. Everybody. And finally, on day one, and yes, it's going to be a busy day. But you know what? We got a day 2 and a day 3 and a day 4 coming. But on day 1, we are going to make this Virginia government work for us and stop telling us what to do all the time. It all starts with our constitutional rights. We know that. They've been trampled on over the last few years mightily. When this governor opened up ABC stores and kept my church closed, I knew he didn't understand our First Amendment right. When this governor allowed the FBI to come into this state and try to silence parents standing up for their own children, I know he doesn't understand our Constitution. When Terry McAuliffe wants to take guns away from law-abiding citizens and make it easier for hardened criminals to get them, he doesn't understand our Second Amendment. And let me tell you, Jason Miyares and Winsome Sears and I, we understand our 10th Amendment, and we are going to push back against Washington overreach and go to work for all of you. But I have to tell you, I have a pet peeve. I cannot stand inefficiency and waste. And here I am going into government. On day one, we're going to launch a government-wide audit of every department, rooting out fraud, rooting out waste, raising transparency. And the two places we're starting first are the Virginia Employment Commission and the Department of Motor Vehicles. Now, here's how you're going to know we're being successful. Because down the road, you're going to call into the DMV and two things are going to happen. Number one, they're going to answer the phone. And number two, they're going to say, "Hi, how may I help you?" Government for the people, of the people, by the people. This is what we're supposed to have. Not government that tells us what to do all the time. Friends, this is the Virginia that we can build together. This is the Virginia promise. This is why we're here. I mean, Virginia is the greatest state in America. We just haven't been allowed to behave like it. And so together, we will build this. Starting tomorrow, this Virginia promise will come alive. Starting tomorrow, we can make this statement that, yes, will be heard around the country, but will be heard right here in Loudoun County, right here in our schools, right here in our families. We, in fact, get to redefine our future. I can't do it by myself, though, and neither can Jason and neither can Winsome. We got to do it with all of you. Together, we can make this happen. Together, we can change the future. Together, we can do anything because we are Virginians, and this is what we do. So tomorrow, friends, I got to ask you two things. Two things. First, go vote. Go vote. But I need you to bring 10 friends. 10 friends that are not here. And 10 friends that will vote the right way. Leave the other guys at home. And let me tell you what's going to happen when you do that. We are going to win Loudoun County tomorrow. How amazing is that going to be? Wake up, Virginia. Here we come, because we're going to win this tomorrow. Second thing I'd ask you to do is, if you have a prayer list, put us on it. Paige and Jason and their girls, and Terrence and Winsome and their family, and Suzanne and me and our kids, Grant, Anna, John, and Thomas. Friends, this is a moment for us to get all the help, and we need it, so thank you. Let me tell you what's going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to go to the polls. Tomorrow we're going to watch Virginians make a statement. Tomorrow we are going to sit there at 7 o'clock tomorrow night, and we're going to start watching the results come in. And I'll tell you, that early on, we might be a little behind because of some of the early votes that'll get counted. And then we're going to watch us roar through this. And let me tell you what it's going to look like. It's going to look like Terry McAuliffe is going 45 miles an hour down Route 66 and coming up 70 on the outside. We are coming up. And we are going to win this. And let me tell you, I know I speak on behalf of Jason, Winsome. Why don't you guys come up here? Come on up here. It's a little slippery. Come on down into the middle. Come on down into the middle. I want to tell you how honored and proud I am to run with these two. We have been running as a team. We've been running together. We started out this entire campaign praying together. That's the way we started. And I will tell you, what's happened over the course of the last many months has been amazing. And I just tell you, on that day, on January 15th, and I know I speak for them, we are going to be absolutely consumed with a sense of honor. We're going to overflow with a sense of humility to be able to go work for all of you. We've been saying it all along. Hire us to go work for you. This is the team, plus every delegate, plus every senator, plus every sheriff and school board member and supervisory board member and city council member. We're going to go work for you. But I'll tell you right now, on that day, we are going to feel so honored. And I tell you personally, I mean, here I am. I'm a kid that was washing dishes and taking out trash in the beach when I was 15 years old. And I'm running to actually fill an office that was held by Patrick Henry and Thomas Jefferson. And here I am, this guy getting a chance to do this. And I want to thank you for considering hiring me. But I'll tell you, on that day, I'm going to be overwhelmed with this sense of opportunity, overwhelmed with this sense of privilege to go work for all of you as the 74th governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia. God bless you all. Let's go win this. Let's win it.